Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans la Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you surely know from my attempt at a French introduction that this is my series in which I use Tarot de Marseille adjacent, or antique Italian decks to help me answer a question that I pull from my larger weekly spread. And I've already done that larger weekly spread. And if you have been following along, you know that these days I've been doing a spread called, well, that is based on the Tree of Life. Yeah, based on the Tree of Life, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, and on the Ace of Cups from the Tarot of the Holy Light by the brilliant Christine Payne Towler. So that spread is really intense. And if you haven't seen this week's spread, I suggest that you go watch that. It's in 2 parts. Like I said, it's intense. So I'll put a card up here so that you can hop over and watch part 1 and then part 2, and then come back here so you understand the context from which this question is being asked and answered. And just in case you already have seen those 2 and want a really brief reminder of what it was you saw, this week's videos, part 1 and part 2, the title was Feeding the Fires of Evolution. Yeah, and we started in Keter, if you recall, with the Ace of Wands reversed. So we had that itch, the desire, the not quite formulated desire to clear away space to make room for something new to develop. And for that something new which would actually develop well, if that makes sense, yeah? Not the false starts, but rather making space, making room, getting ourselves ready for something that will take root and will flourish. But it's not the beginning, it's that itch before the beginning, if that makes sense. And then we worked through the tree in depth until we got to the last card, which is an oracle card, which basically said, get a hobby. Manifests in finding a hobby. But really what it means is to expand what we are doing, to find new avenues of learning and interacting. And one of those ways might be finding a hobby. And went from that itch for clearing away the beginnings to finding new interests, right? So there's a lot of information packed in there. And so this week, just as I did last week and the week before, I'm asking the same question of the Tarot de Marseille. That question is, what is the central message of this week's Tree of Life spread? I want to get a clear, concise, in a nutshell response that will both give us a little bit of a handle on that larger spread and maybe even give us some confirmation. And boy, do we have confirmation this week. So, friends, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that question all neat and pretty in written letters, and then I'll show you the 3-card spread from the Tarot de Marseille, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go. Now, I have to tell you, from the first card of the response from this deck, I started laughing. I started laughing in recognition and in confirmation and in, it seemed like a really clear answer. But before we get into the answer, let me just tell you, this deck is not a standard Tarot de Marseille. I've used it for the last 3 videos, right? If you've been following along. If you're new, let me tell you that this is called the Tarot des Ambiguites, and it is available at the website for Artisan Tarot. And Artisan Tarot makes amazing decks. They've done 3 restoration decks, the Via, the Noble, the Dodal. I have all of those decks, and they are wonderful. The cardstock for all of their decks is sublime. It's wonderful. It's professional, casino grade durable, thin, flexible, matte finished, wonderful cardstock to shuffle and to use and to read, and it's just amazing. I highly recommend them. And so I'll have a link in the description box below so you can go check out this deck or any of their other decks. I really, really do recommend their products. It's just fabulous. They're working, I hope they're still doing it, working on a Tarot de Paris that I am really looking forward to. Just saying. If you're watching Artisan Tarot, I'm waiting. So here we are with this 3-card spread from the Tarot des Ambiguites. And you saw from left to right, we had the 5 of Wands. And really, I swear to God, I laughed out loud when that card first appeared. It was like, oh yeah. And then the 3 of Wands showed up, right? And then the 8 of Swords. This couldn't be a better synopsis of that Tree of Life spread at all. So let's start off with this wonderful 5 of Wands. And in this deck, the wands are legs. Yeah, they're gamba. I think gamba, that's Italian. Anyways, they're legs. The swords you saw are arms. Well, we'll get to them in a moment. They're arms, yeah? Arms. Swords are arms of weapons, arms, right? You know what I mean? So we're starting off with the legs. This is what gives us our motion forward, of course. I mean, we have these 5 legs, but they're basically, I mean, they are legs, but still they have that Tarot de Marseille style, right? They're formed the same way. They have very similar decorations on the sides, the floral decorations on top and on the sides. It's just a beautifully designed deck. It's a very witty deck. It's a humorous deck. And this card is wonderful. And what is the 5 of Wands? Now, for me, 5s are the breakout from the 4s. Yeah, the 4s are our stability. The 5s are the fresh start, the fresh break, the explosion of experimentation. So, 5 of Wands. Playfulness, experiment, like I said, experimentation, creative risks, new desires. That's where we're starting. And remember, for this week's video, that's where we started as well, right? In Kether, at the first card, we had that itch, that new desire that is barely palpable to prepare for the new thing, right? Which was a wand. And here we have this, yeah? Energy to go beyond what has been known, yeah? To move into the unknown, perhaps. But it's not the intellectual movement into the unknown, but the energy to go beyond for motion, for creation. Yeah? It's also the initiation into the unknown. Now, unknown sexual desires. Sexuality is part of the wand suits, right? Could be unknown sexual desires or other creative domains. So we move into those, and we're initiated into those unknown, as yet unknown, creative areas of our lives, and perhaps sexuality. Evolution towards unexpected depths or larger dimensions. Those are all things around the 5 of Wands for me. It's that playfulness, that experimentation, looking into what we haven't done before, because we've been so safe in our 4 of Wands place. Now we're breaking out and putting out our feelers and getting ready for the new thing and initiating ourselves into the new thing. Right? And we move from that, now we're moving into the 3. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Derek, that's not a progression, that's a regression. But yes, there are cases where we can consider that. But I think from this breaking forth from the stability, which is a really strong reminder of that Ace of Wands reversed in Kether, this is the logical next step, the 3 of Wands. Yeah? The 3 of Wands. You have the 3 wands here looking very much like a Tarot de Marseille set of 3 wands, although these are more, I want to say they're visceral. There's a corporality to these, they don't look so much like sticks, but sticks that are fleshy, right? Which is appropriate because they end in feet. But we have the similar floral designs around here, yeah? And some people might say, well, these floral designs to these floral designs, they're not a growth, they're a retraction, and yes, that could be possible. But not always, and not here. Not here, because we've gone from that experimentation to here acting impulsively. Now you might be thinking, okay, acting impulsively, that's not so good. And there are times when impulsive actions are not good. They're not based on a good foundation. And we can get into trouble when we are impulsive. So, impulsive shopping, for example. We sometimes walk away with stuff that is either not suitable for us, inappropriate for our living circumstances, or we've spent too much money. We haven't considered it deeply, right? But there's another way to consider the impulse, right? The fiery impulse to act, yeah? Acting impulsively, acting from an impulse from within. Now that impulse to, yes, let's do. I think that's what this is coming from. Now we've started from that playfulness, that creative risks, new desire to, yes, the impulse to move forward. So, living spontaneously, breaking away from and out of that box that we were in before the 5. Now, self-release, releasing ourselves to experience new things. Freedom, experiencing the freedom of what we can discover. It's a burst of vital energy, fed by the 5, I think. Energy gushing forth. Spontaneous creative vigor, but may lack a goal. It may lack a goal, but it's not necessary that there is no goal here. It may lack a goal, but there is a spontaneous creative fire here. And remember, I titled that larger video for this week, Feeding the Fires of Evolution. Yeah, this fire is here. And exuberance to get started. Okay, so I started exploring. I've initiated myself to something creative, and now let's get going. Let's do it. Let's do this thing, right? This is so much very similar to the link from that Ace of Wands at the top to get a hobby, to explore new areas of investigation, of experience for ourselves. And so the next response to this urge, this impulse to move forward, to feel the freedom of the 3, is a card of beauty. Not beauty, beyond beauty. Now the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords. Now for me, 8s of Swords are a new size, upsized, energized stability from the 7s. The 7s for me are the movement forward into the community, becoming leaders, becoming the showers or the interactors with whatever element that we're talking about. We bring our newly discovered mastery of the 6 out into the community. We share with the community, or we discover our place in the community. And here in the 8 is here, we've done that, and now we found a new level of stability, energized stability. And we see this flower in the center of these arms, right? You see the arms, you see the hands holding the opposite ends of the swords here. It's a beautiful card, beautifully designed deck. So in the 8, yeah, we've got expanded intelligence. In the 6s, we might have meditation, we might have self-discovery, we might have appreciation of ideas, the beauty of ideas, the appreciation of the beauty of thought. But here we have this expansion. within the boundaries of our thought, of our minds. It could be finding our intuition here. Clarity, discovering clarity. Mind not identifying with concepts, but experiencing them instead, if that makes sense. Powerful concentration. Now, this flower here is very concentrated, right? It's like a concentration. It's like, this flower almost makes me think of an essential oil, yeah? Because it doesn't fill up the space, yeah? The flower is concentrated. It's like a diamond or a crystal here in the center. And it's deeply powerful and meditative and experiencing perhaps unity consciousness. Let me try pronouncing that again. Unity consciousness. Discovering solutions to problems is also possible here. Becoming what was I saying? Solutions to problems which are obvious beyond reasoning. Now, beyond the ability, beyond what we can achieve by reason, we can find solutions in this card. So we can work things out, we can figure things out, we can put pen or pencil to paper and figure out some solutions to problems. But this is that expanded, that holistic mind approach to finding solutions to problems. Non-thought, the solutions that come from non-thought. Does that make sense? The solutions that come from non-thought, where we don't focus on the problems, we open ourselves to the solution appearing here, like this little crystallized flower in the middle of these swords. Yeah? These are ways that I approach the Eight of Swords, and these are ways that I think this card is bringing us to the end of that full reading with the Tree of Life. Yeah, we start off with that itch, that desire, that playfulness, experimentation to go beyond, the initiation into something new, which gives us vitality and freedom to explore and experience and to move forward with that new passion into what? Into clarity, into expansive intelligence, expanded understanding, solutions that don't require figuring out but are revealed like a powerfully concentrated flower or diamond which appears within the center of mind. Unity consciousness, our connection with the divine, with all that there is, which is our evolution, right? Does that make sense? Can you see how that flows? If you saw the full video of this week's tarot, of this week's Tree of Life spread, both parts, do you see how that flows and how these three cards have crystallized, have given us the essential oil, the distilled essential oil of that larger spread. This is how we can evolve. This is how we can do the things, how we can feed the fires of our evolution. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. Does that make sense? Do you want more explanation? Would a different approach to these cards make more sense to you? Let me know in the comments below. And friends, if you are still here, hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you got something out of it. It'll draw more eyes to the channel. And that helps the channel a lot. Commenting helps the channel a lot. Subscribing, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm doing about 3, maybe 4 a week again in a couple of weeks, because right now I'm still at the beginning of the semester and there's a lot of busy work around what I'm doing now. So I haven't been able to do any extra videos. But I'm going to be keeping up with the 3 videos of the spreads weekly. And if you want to get notifications, hit the alarm bell. And if you want to get this deck, remember, there's a link in the description box below. Go get the deck. It is truly wonderful. It reads beautifully. And also, if you want a reading from me, I am available. I said I'm busy, but I can give you a reading. Shoot me an email to the Hanged Man in the Moon. It's in the description box below, and we'll get you a reading. Anything you want. We can do a simple 3-card spread with Tarot de Marseille, or a Rider-Waite Smith deck. We can do a large spread like the Tree of Life for you. Whatever you want, let me know. Okay? So friends, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and learning and review. Yeah? This spread is a review, I think. And it's amazing how for the last 3 weeks, the 3-card spread that I've pulled with Tarot de Marseille has really given a very, very accurate, essential, crystallized message from the larger spread. It's truly remarkable. And I'm going to stop talking because apparently the words are not coming out of my mouth anymore. So there we go, friends. Thank you very much. And as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.